Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Welcome in. It is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network on this Thursday. I'm Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We're talking Boston sports as we do every weekday live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Big day. Boston's college hockey team, the BU Terriers, are in the Frozen Four for the third straight year. They'll take on Penn State tonight. We won't talk about that very much, by the way. We're going to talk Patriots NFL draft and why Abdul Carter might slip to them. We're going to have Matt Barry from the Bruins Benders podcast on here to talk about Nikita Zadorov and this apparent war of attrition going on in the Bruins locker room. We will also talk about a key member of the Red Sox that needs to come back soon, or this is going to be a not very great April. But before we get there, Zach, could I have you for 1 second? Because I really want you to just affirm me here. And that's typically why we bring you on. But okay. You know what pisses me off?
A lot of things.
You know what's really grinding my gears today?
What is it, Peter?
You know,
it's a terrible accent. Sorry.
I knew what you were going for, though.
Yeah, thank you.
I haven't seen that episode in a long time. But when I go to like a website, like I'm doing research, this happens all the time. Like before the show, I'm doing research for the show, and I'm like, this isn't exactly what I want. I'm backing out. And those websites that just when you hit the back button, just like goes to the bottom of the page or something, or it links you to other. I'm like, how can they even do that? That shouldn't be legal. And there are some where you have to hit back like 4 or 5 times
to get out of it. Yeah.
And you're like, can I just get back to the goddamn Google search I was on? Does that not piss you off? That should be illegal.
It does. I feel
Internet Act or something.
This is going to sound weird. It happens more obviously on like your computer than it does like on your phone. Thankfully, I don't know if maybe it's an iPhone feature. So it frustrates me more at work when it happens, but thankfully it doesn't happen too much at home. But yeah, no, it's a pain in the ass. Just like because you're like, I clicked on one link. Why do I have to click back 5 times?
I just hate that, man.
Yeah.
I also hate that I said on the show yesterday that Patriots Day is Monday. It's not. Okay. I thought Monday was the 15th. That's why, which would be the third Monday. But it's not. It's the 14th. So it's a whole week later.
Oh, so Patriots Day is on the 21st.
By me. Yep. The day after 420.
Oh, so then
also the day after Easter.
Yeah. So the Red Sox will play it like at noon.
Yeah, it's 11.
11. Sorry. Yeah.
10 for us. We'll be closing out the show or closing out the game almost with the show.
Hey, that'll be cool. That'll be a first. We get to follow along with some. We can keep you updated on the Red Sox game as the show goes on.
We should just do an alternative broadcast to the game.
I think that would be nice. I can probably pull it up on MLB TV in here.
You give marathon updates throughout. You try to pronounce the names of some of the leaders. I think that would be great. And I will give Red Sox alternate commentary. We'll talk about some guys naming dudes.
Oh, dude,
which we have not done since the summer.
So is this like a Cam Show Patriots Day special?
I think there's room for it. Let's just say that. I think there's room for it. But that made me feel like a bad Bostonian today. I just got the dates wrong. I just thought Monday was the 15th. It's not.
You were just excited. You were so ready to celebrate.
I was ready for Patriots Day, man. Yeah. And talk about so one more quick thing before I talk about the Patriots about Patriots Day is that it starts a school vacation week in Massachusetts. We don't have spring break in March like the rest of the country has. We have a February vacation, school vacation for a week, and an April school vacation for a week.
Hold on.
Yeah. So February is President's Day.
Yeah. But they get 2 weeks off then?
Yeah. I mean, the school year is also a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, it probably evens out because, I mean, most of the schools start like right before Labor Day, like the week before. Yeah. Whereas in Texas, they start on like August 2nd. It's like crazy to me. We used to start after Labor Day for most of my schooling, probably a little more than half of my schooling.
I started August my entire time. I was just gonna ask, is there like a cool name for the Patriots Day week? Is that what it's called? Patriots week.
Yeah, it's just April school vacation.
Patriots week sounds like a completely different event.
Because that Sunday is also Easter, which means you get February school vacation or April school vacation starting on Thursday night because you get Good Friday off.
Yeah.
What a baller move, man.
Dude, so you get like a an 8-day vacation. You get like a week plus. Oh, no, 8. It's going to be 10 almost. Dude,
yeah,
nice.
It's pretty sick, man. It's pretty sick. Just saying. I don't get to bask in it at all ever again, but I mean that is pretty cool.
This might be the one time that for a brief second I wanted to be a public school kid in Massachusetts. Just for a brief second.
Best public schools in America, baby.
I'm not going to argue on that. I went to Texas.
Yeah, but I went to Rockland High, so
is that like a good thing? I mean, like I know we've talked about Rockland, but like as somebody who is not there,
it's good. It's solid.
It's good.
It
is. It top notch.
It's yes. Like, but when they're talking about the best public schools in the country, they're not necessarily talking about Rockland High or Weymouth High or Abington High.
But they could potentially be too.
But they fall in there.
Okay.
Like I mean, yeah. It's what do you call the person who finishes last in their class at med school?
He's still a doctor.
Doctor, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, yeah, no, I don't need to bash Rockland any more than anyone else does. I love Rockland. Love it. Great place. They will be watching today, I'm sure. And they're waiting on bated breath on who the Patriots should take. How about that? How about that for a segue? Oh, man. Thank you to Zach. Thank you to Zach for bearing with me on the bullshit that I just spew out. Because once I get going, I might not stop. Anyway, we are now officially 2 weeks away from the first round of the NFL draft in Green Bay. There are still plenty of question marks at who the Patriots are taking at 4. There's still plenty of question marks for everyone in the top 4, right? Like this is pretty much still up in the air. Up until last week, we thought Travis Hunter was going to drop to 4. We thought the Giants are going to take Shedeur, and now this is all in flux. And to add to this craziness, the guy who looked to be a can't miss guy a couple months ago, Abdul Carter, is slipping. There are now mock drafts that don't have Abdul Carter going number 1. That used to be split kind of 50-50 with Cam Ward or Abdul Carter going to the Titans. But now there are some questions. There's some questions about his health. He had a shoulder injury at the end of the season. He had a foot injury that continues to linger. That's the one that teams are a little bit more concerned about. He is visiting the Patriots today, which was not expected. He's only visiting 4 teams, so I guess that makes sense that it's the top 4 picks in the draft. But now more and more mock drafts do not have him going number 1. And in fact, some have him dropping all the way to the Patriots at 4. What is happening with this? This was supposed to be like your prototypical edge rusher, game wrecker. Take him at number 1. That is the guy who you can build an entire defense around. Now what's happening? We've got injury stuff. We've got reports coming out about his attitude at Penn State, that he was a great Saturday player, but really coasted during the week, was not a very hard worker during the week. That is a major, major red flag for NFL teams. Like massive. Because, Abdul Carter has all the gifts and he has the stats. And you see the game tape on Saturdays. You don't see what it's looking like on Wednesday or Tuesday when they're going full tilt in a college football practice. You don't see that in the game film. You see the Saturday game film and you go to a pro day and you see them at the combine if they perform at the combine. Obviously, Carter did not. But now the reports are, this guy just kind of coasted during the week. And in the NFL, that's not possible. You can't do that. Ernie Adams, Pink Stripes himself, of great Patriots lore, said it best. There's no such thing as a game day player. There's no such thing as a Sunday player. Because if you don't perform during the week, there is no Sunday. And obviously, Abdul Carter is still talented enough that he's going to be a difference maker for somebody next year. But that's a big time red flag. And I look at this Sports Illustrated mock draft, because there's a couple, again, that don't have him going number 1 anymore. But this SI mock draft is fascinating to me. They've got Cam Ward number 1 to Cleveland. They flip picks. Tennessee number 2 picking Travis Hunter. Vegas number 3. This is a wild, just nutso order here. All trades. Vegas at number 3 taking Shedeur Sanders, and the Patriots at number 4. No, they're not there either. They have them trading the number 4 pick to Carolina so that the Panthers could get their foundational defensive player in Abdul Carter. The Patriots trade back to 8th and pick They picked Ted McMillan at number 8. If we're going to throw out red flag concerns for Abdul Carter trying to be a game day player, how can we not throw out the same concerns for Ted McMillan? There's literally video of him in the dining hall saying, "Yeah, I don't watch film. I don't watch football. I only watch film when they make me." Again, not really an option in the NFL, especially if you're going to be the team's sort of savior at that position. You can't not like football. Sorry. Once in a generation, maybe you get a good player. You know, Curtis Martin famously doesn't watch football, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But that's not really an option here. So I don't agree with. I don't think that's the way the Patriots are going to go. In fact, I think the closer we get to it, I think they're going to stick at 4, and I think they've got good options. And the one that really sticks out to me is now that we see Abdul Carter's stock starting to fall just a little bit here, and the possibility that he might be there at 4. The one that really intrigues me is, would the Patriots draft Jalen Walker at 4, even if Abdul Carter is available? That is the burning question for me. I talked about it on yesterday's show, and you could check out the video on the channel if you didn't see that. I love Jalen Walker. You know, the closer we get to this thing and the more I hear about this kid, the more I watch on this kid, this is a potential game wrecker in and of itself right here. And the differences in the reports we're hearing about these guys off the field and in the facility is way different, right? Abdul Carter, Saturday player, coast during practice, just going off his pure talent, not a very hard worker. That's what we're hearing from people close to the situation as the reports coming out around the league. Jalen Walker of Georgia, on the other hand, again, playing for the best defense in the country and the best defensive mind probably in college football in Kirby Smart. Jalen Walker has been hailed as a coach in the position room. You can't get any more different than those two reports, okay? Jalen Walker, an absolute baller, a terrific talent, unbelievable athlete, can line up a couple different places for you in the middle of your defense. An off-ball linebacker whose best attribute is being a pass rusher. Freak athlete that can track down everyone. Abdul Carter has a lot of those same things. Don't get me wrong. He is a game wrecker. He's an unbelievable pass rusher. But you hold on the one hand the coach in the position room, the coach on the field in Jalen Walker, and the injured coaster guy who's going to rely only on his own talent. I think I know which way I'm going, because they didn't say those things they didn't say the things they say about Abdul Carter. They didn't say those about Aiden Hutchinson. They didn't say those about Myles Garrett. They said more of the same things that you hear about Jalen Walker. So to me, it's actually, I don't think it's going to be that big an issue. I think the Patriots, if both are available at 4, still have a good chance of picking Jalen Walker and shocking the NFL, like stunning the NFL public. If Abdul Carter's dropping to at least 5, that would be the story of the draft. Unless Shedeur Sanders drops to the second round, which could happen also, by the way, which is nuts. But the more I look at this, and I was looking at it the last few days through the lens of Jalen Walker, Will Campbell, rather than Jalen Walker, Abdul Carter. But looking at it through the Walker Campbell thing here, what is the risk really of taking Jalen Walker? Because I don't see anything. Will Campbell, that's a risk. It's easy to sell to the fan base of, hey, look at how awful our offensive line was last year. We took the best available, the top offensive line prospect in the draft. But there's still major questions on whether he can play tackle in this league. And if he can't, and if you find that out pretty early that he can't play tackle in this league, that's really bad that you picked a guard in the top 5. So the way I'm trying to look at this in terms of the gap is, if Will Campbell is not the best case scenario, like he's not a left tackle, then he's at best a second round pick. Jalen Walker, his downside is being picked between like 8 and 10 rather than 4. Whereas Will Campbell, his downside is being picked in the 30s. To me, that's an easy sell to the fan base. Hey, we picked the freak athlete here who can be a cornerstone part of our defense. And especially if Abdul Carter's off the board, which at the end of the day, I think he will be off the board by 4. You'll say, hey, if we drafted Abdul Carter, everyone would have been great. We drafted the next best guy, one who is right there with Abdul Carter, according to all the scouts. So to me, Jalen Walker might just be the obvious pick when it's all said and done. You know, the freakish things he can do on the football field, the myriad different ways that you can line him up and affect the game, lining up over the A-gap as a run stopper and also as a pass rusher with his best attribute. To me, that's kind of easy. And the more we hear about Jalen Walker, I think the more that Patriots fans would be upset if they drafted Will Campbell instead. Will Campbell does hit all the other attributes, right? All the other intangibles. He's got the PFF grade, you know, he's got the culture part of it. He's a hungry kid. But to hear that Jalen Walker not only has the physical attributes, has the stats, played at the highest level of college football, and also is a coach in the position room, to me, that's easy. And if Mike Vrabel is serious about changing the culture and getting more of that quote-unquote Patriot way back into this thing, then Jalen Walker is the pick. And I go as far as saying Jalen Walker is the pick over Abdul Carter if those are the things that Mike Vrabel is serious about. And it would stun the NFL world. Because I look at Jalen Walker and I see all the great attributes of Dante Hightower coming out of college, playing for, among other people, Kirby Smart when he was at Alabama, plus athleticism. Plus athleticism. You know, to me, it's almost a no-brainer at this point. I don't think you could be mad if they take Jalen Walker at 4. I really don't. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. About 90% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. Why not, man? We're bringing you nothing but Boston sports talk 5 days a week, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking Patriots draft and all the other Boston sports teams. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up, we're going to talk a little Bruins. More drama. Who would have thunk it? More drama with this Bruins season that just won't die. We're going to have Matt Barry of the Bruins Benders podcast to break it all down. It's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. We're live on YouTube, just as we are 5 days a week, and then available wherever you get your podcasts. We've done the Patriots draft strategy. There's another team in Boston that's going to probably be picking in the top 5 this year, if all goes well. That's the Boston Bruins. So we bring in Matt Barry of the Bruins Benders podcast. Matt, it almost looks like they're playing their way out of that top 5 pick. I mean, two 5+ goal outbursts in the last week, and they're trying to screw this thing up.
I think so. Well, they have Chicago and Pittsburgh coming up too, and it's that game that just beat by 5 goals. So those are the last 3 games. So maybe they win them all. I don't know. Thankfully, the Flyers are playing well. The Ducks are playing well, and they're still in 4th, and I think they can remain there. But tonight they play Chicago at home, and they played well at home for much of the season, the Bruins. So they could win that one, and then it gets a little hairy, but I'd like them to stay in 4th because I think there you can get no lower than 6 and you have a chance at 1. So you have a 9.5% chance right now at 1.
I like those odds. I do. It almost feels like the Cosmos are keeping them in this race, like you said, with Chicago or just whatever else is going on too. Like Anaheim, 2 goals in 9 seconds to tie the game last night and then win it in overtime. The Flyers win on the Rangers home ice when it was a must win for the Rangers. Like it's just, they've scored 25 goals since they fired Torts. It is kind of still shaping up for the Bruins to be there. And by the way, crazy breaking news this morning. Breaking news from the Bruins that we all could have told you roughly a month and a half ago. Can you believe this? Charlie McAvoy is not going to play the last 3 games. Who would have thunk this, that Charlie McAvoy is not going to play the last 3 games, these meaningful games for the team?
I don't know what they waited for. It almost leads me to believe that they thought, even after making the trades, that they had a chance still. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Why would you put the guy out there in a regular practice jersey with a major shoulder issue with nothing to play for? Why would you do that? I mean, I don't understand it. They immediately shelved Hampus Lindholm. Should have done it with Charlie McAvoy. They waited till forever, and it made it look like he was going to play again. I'll tell you what, if he needs an additional surgery in the offseason, then I really have to question what they're thinking, what they're doing, and how competent they are. If they're putting him out there at practice, I have no idea what's happening with him, but it seems to be he's getting healthier. I don't know if they had to talk him out of not playing. If they did, then great. They did the right thing, but I don't know what that was all about.
If he does need an additional surgery, they will find a way to pin it on Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild staff.
And they'll do it in late August so that he missed 3 months. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That would be just like so par for the course right now. We've got Matt Barry of the Bruins Benders podcast on here. You guys could obviously catch them after every game, which includes this one tonight against Chicago, an absolute barn burner up at the TD Garden. The Blackhawks, Pat Maroon's last trip to his fabled home of Boston, where he spent half the season. But I do want to talk about Nikita Zadorov a little bit, because this is something that we've talked about on this show. You've talked about it with Smitty on the Bruins Benders podcast. Like, Zadorov has left a lot to be desired as a player, but it does seem like there's been some leadership there. The guys respond to him, and he takes ownership of things on the ice, so to speak. And I've talked about him being an alternate captain next year. I know you guys have talked about it too. But now there's some other rumors coming out. This was from the What Chaos guys who were on 98.5 yesterday. I'm going to play this. It's about a minute long. But they have some interesting insights on Nikita Zadorov and kind of what things went on behind the scenes with the Bruins this year.
Like getting those guys from Vancouver, and I don't know if it was too much pressure on them or if Zadorov came in thinking that he was going to be more of a leader on the team or whatever, but clearly it all started off with those guys not fitting as well as we thought.
So look, you said about Zadorov, you don't know if he thought he was going to be the leader or what. So what you're telling me is he thought he was coming in as kind of a captain, and he's acted now that Marchand's gone, you can see he's sort of acting like he's in charge of the team. He was the one talking about Swayman, etc. So are you basically suggesting that Zadorov came in and wanted to introduce some sort of power struggle?
What I will say about Zadorov is I think that he didn't wait for Marchand to leave to start acting like he was the captain. I think that is his personality.
Yes.
And I think that you look at sort of his track record. We like him as a guest. We like him as a personality. His track record has not been particularly favorable in a lot of the locker rooms that he's been in. He's burned a lot of bridges.
Now that's interesting. The burning the bridges part. This is his 7th team in 12 seasons. But yet you don't hear, like, there was never like a rush to get Zadorov out of a place. In fact, Vancouver loved him for the half season last year. So Matt, I just want your reaction to that, because it surprised me a little bit. Obviously he is, a big personality, but I wasn't expecting to hear that.
I'm going to give Don Sweeney a lot more credit than he probably deserves. I'm going to say that he had foreshadowing and went out and got Zadorov to help change the culture of the team. There was too much passengers, too many people who wanted to run the ship and running coaches out. And I feel like maybe he thought he was losing control of the room and the inmates who were running the asylum and all that type of stuff. And then maybe he brought in Zadorov and paid him a little extra to come in here and start kicking some ass and start holding guys accountable. It would make perfect sense now if that was the case. But again, I'm giving Don Sweeney probably too much credit to think of that ahead of time, but it would make a lot of sense if he is at least an assistant or even the captain next year. And we've been lobbying for it on the podcast. He should be the captain. Charlie McAvoy has shown us really nothing to be the captain. Like an A, sure, whatever. But the captain, we have been lobbying for Zadorov for the last couple of months. So I think that all makes sense if that's what it was. And I think that's what the team needs, to be honest with you.
That was kind of my next question, because they go on to say very abrasive and rub some people the wrong way. And when I heard that, I'm like, good. There's problems in this locker room, and there was an entitlement issue. You basically fired a coach more or less over an entitlement issue. And you're going to run. Poor Joe Sacco has kind of been the sacrificial lamb in the rest of the season. So that is what I'm kind of thinking too, is these guys do need a bit of a kick in the ass. And there's not much you can do with this roster, what it is right now. But I'll tell you one guy who, not that he was playing poorly at the beginning of the season or in any of the last few seasons, but a guy who's been kicking ass since Marchand's been out of the room, and it's been Zadorov's team, so to speak, Zadorov's locker room, is David Pastrnak. And he has elevated everybody. There's not much you can do with this roster, but maybe that is the long-term fix. Maybe Nikita Zadorov is what this team needs. Like,
funny how just when Marchand left, that Pastrnak just took off. And there was all that talk from Rich Keefe about how, there might have been a rift there and there might have been something going on there. Marchand blew it off and then ripped Rich Keefe, which led me to believe there was some truth to it.
Yeah.
And he leaves, Marchand, and Pastrnak just completely takes off and takes the team under his wing. Now, the team still sucks, but he's been like an elite player. Like, he is the top 5-on-5 player in the league. Like, he has over 100 points in a team that is just terrible. Has nobody else can score other than him and his line mate. So he has been unbelievable, like terrific. And it was all after the deadline. And it's not all after. I mean, he played fairly well before that, but he's really taken off after it. And I'm wondering if Zadorov and Pastrnak are like taking the team on under their wing and being like, okay, the new guard now, which I think is great for the team. Like, if that's the case, then that's the first step, honestly. I mean, players, whatever, you're going to have to get some players. I don't know how you do it, but at least the culture and the compete level and all that stuff, if that changes because of Zadorov and Pasternak's with him, great. I mean, that's the first step.
And I'll say this about Zadorov too. Again, we talk about the play on the ice. He's not been horrible, all told. He's actually been fine. Especially on this team, right? Like, he's actually probably good compared to the rest of this team. And I look at two things. I look at him knocking the shit out of Sam Bennett, and I look at him talking about Jeremy Swayman when Swayman was standing up for his guys. He's like, oh, is that what you call it? Like that to me, and the way he plays, you know what? The first thing I think of is like the dude, the poor guy, he was born too late. 25 years ago, like this is Scott Stevens. This is Darian Hatcher. Like those guys were pricks. They were this big physical defenseman, and those guys were running locker rooms in this league and winning cups 25 years ago. And for Zadorov, it's 7 teams in 12 years. But I'm hoping that is kind of, he brings that kind of edge to the Bruins, and maybe that can still work in the 2020s. I hope it can. Chara was a little bit of that, but not really what this is. I'm hoping that's what this becomes.
I think, and I hope so too. And again, I think that's what they need. And I think if Zadorov can do that for them, and Zadorov has been okay in the last couple of months. Like in the beginning of the season, there was some struggles. And last year he had a great playoff with Vancouver. He's a guy who elevates his game when the games are bigger. There haven't been any big games, so that's But he's a plus player on a team that has a goal differential like -60 or whatever it is.
Yeah, true.
He's doing, he's doing God's work without Lindholm and McAvoy, and bringing Lowry on, who's a +37 or whatever he is, and so there's not a lot there. The Wotherspoons and the Mitchells and the Callahans, and and he's been kind of the glue that kind of keeps it all together on the back end. So I have really come around on him some. Look, I don't think he's the greatest player in the world. There's going to be times where you get pissed off at him. But there were times you got pissed off and irritated with Chara, when he was getting later in life. So I think it's great for the team, really, if he could just take that sort of attitude on. We've been saying this for a while. They need pricks. Like when they won the whole thing, they had Ferentz and McQuaid, guys who would they might kill you like in the parking lot. I mean, they had that edge to them, and they need that, and they haven't had that.
Yeah, it felt like you had one of those on almost every line on the 2011 team. Like Thornton was there, obviously Lucic is on your first line. Like you just didn't fuck with that first line, man. And it had Horton and Krejci on it, who were not big fighters either. And there is still an edge needed, I think, and it's evidenced by the Panthers going to back-to-back Cup finals. They won the whole thing last year. There definitely still needs to be that kind of edge, and you also need the high-end talent, which one guy has on the Boston Bruins. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, Matt, but this David Pastrnak season, maybe outside of the Tim Thomas 2011, is the most impressive individual season for a Bruin I've seen in my lifetime, in my 20 years of watching this team. To get to 100 points on this dog shit team and have over 65 on 5 points, which leads the league. And it's a team that's awful 5 on 5. This is, I mean, he's doing things that only Gretzky and Lemieux have done in terms of, I think it's 13 straight goals that he had a hand in for the team. Is this up there with one of the great individual seasons you've seen that's just being wasted for the Bruins?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Being wasted is that's the key word. Yeah. It's being wasted. I mean, but for a team as bad as this to have this type of year, I mean, when they were bad in the past in 06 and then back in 97, 96, 97, they didn't have a player like this playing at this level. And it's like when you're out playing with like some guys when you're a kid at playing street hockey, and then you're getting killed all afternoon. So you go get your bigger brother. So you come in and make it more respectable. That's what it looks like sometimes. Like he's out there, he's got the puck all the time, he's making plays. Here's the other thing about him. Two more things about him. If he plays the last 3 games, that's 3 straight years of 82 games. Like 3 straight full seasons for a guy like him, who's not overly big, not overly physical, not meant to be like an endurance kind of guy. He plays every game, 1. And then 2, his assists are way up. Like he's going to get his 2nd straight 60 assist season, who people think is a natural goal scorer, and that's all he does. Wrong. Like, so he sets up. Morgan Geekie should give him half his paycheck when he signs it. Like
no doubt.
Those are a couple other points that people have to recognize. Like he plays all the time, and he plays a lot of minutes. This is the most minutes he's played on average, like 21 plus or whatever it is, and then all the assists. Like he's becoming a more complete player.
Absolutely. And like you look at the 2 years ago, I think it was 110 points with 61 goals, which means 61 goals, 59 assists on a line with, Marchand and Bergeron. So he's just the goal scorer for a long time, but he can create. I mean, and he's done it. And look, Leon Draisaitl's having a great year. Take nothing away from him. Kucherov, same thing. But they're playing on two great lines. Pasternak's playing with Zacha and Geeky and Casey Middlestat. Like, this is unthinkable, and it's too bad that it gets totally lost. Like, no one pays attention to what he's doing with this.
And Draisaitl, and either Draisaitl or McKinnon will probably win it. Mm-hmm. But Pasternak deserves Hart Trophy consideration, big time, or something, because he deserves. Because he's just been a good soldier. Now, the offseason, in his exit interview, I would sit down with Don Sweeney and say, Donnie, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here, bud?
This is going to be a long interview. This better be a long interview.
Yeah, he's going to, if I were him, I'd say, give me a clear plan right now, because he can't keep doing this. And, they're wasting his prime years.
That's the big thing. Yeah, he's turning 29 in May, which they won't be playing in May.
Right.
We're talking about, 2-3 years of real prime seasons left with him.
Yeah.
And at the least, he's got to get a guarantee of like, okay, Pasta, by like 31, your age 31, we're going to be really in this thing, and I don't know how much I don't know if that's Don Sweeney writing a check he can't cash. I bet he can't, but it's also going to be a long, hard look for the Jacobs family. I know they've said, these are our guys for some reason. Don Sweeney and Cam Neely, we're sticking with them. We trust them. But you got to look at it from a hockey sense, which I know they don't like to do. But like David Pasternak is about halfway to Ray Bourque's points record for the Bruins. And he's not even 29 years old yet. Like, we're talking about a guy who could finish on the Mount Rushmore of one of the great franchises in the history of the league. Like, that's a real possibility. Yeah. And you're just going to tell him that we trust Don Sweeney and we're going to retool throughout your late 20s. To me, that's bullshit. Like, it can't happen. So, man, there's so much. And it starts with this year. So let's play it out. They're picking in the top 5. I know you guys have talked about this a little bit on the pod. Is there anyone in particular that stands out for you in this draft? I know it's not the best draft in the world. It's not the Connor Bedard or a Connor McDavid kind of draft. So who is it for you that stands out among the prospects?
Well, I if you can get number one, I think they probably get Schaefer, the defenseman, because he has comparisons of being kind of like he could be a franchise guy at defense, and then you can have him as a left shot next to McAvoy. That's enticing. But if not, I really like Frondell, and Tom Frondell is a most NHL ready, bigger guy, more complete player type at his age right now. I like Frondell. It's definitely a crapshoot. I mean, James Higgins from BC has some questions. He was the preseason kind of number one consensus. Now he's dropped to 3 or 4. I don't want them to reach. Don't just get some guy who was 15th in Central Scouting because you think he has potential. You can't go by potential right now. You don't have that luxury anymore. You have to go by who is the best player available and can he get here as quickly as he can. You don't have a 65-win team anymore where you can kind of play it and see, be cute. You can't be cute. You got to go out and get the guy. So I don't know. They all seem to have a little bit of questions here or there. Schaefer or Misha would be first or second, I think. And then I like Frondell, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
So what you're telling me is they will draft James Higgins, and within a week of his first game, they'll say that they're trying to make him into Charlie Coyle.
Yeah, he'll be that. And then they've already tried.
That was I know you guys did that on the post game the other night. That was nuts. I'm like, can we just use the talent these guys have?
A young guy who actually has a little bit of offensive skill. You saw it the other night. He scored a goal, like a really nice goal. And then we're going to try to make him a defensive, player and a bottom sixer. And they have this thing about 200-foot game and all that stuff. Not everybody can be the best defensive player because largely you'll be sucky on offense, which you are.
Yeah.
So
they want to make another Patrice Bergeron. I'm like, man.
Right.
generational. Like they're just, and anyone who played with him will tell you he's one of the best players I've ever played with or against. Like that's just not, those don't happen. You don't make those, right? Like you really
team full of birds.
It's just great. It's just never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got 3 games left in the season, and then we're on full-on tank watch. Well, actually, you know what? Unfortunately, with the Panthers slipping, we now have to root for the underdog Florida Panthers to get through 2 rounds to get an extra first-round pick. So what are you looking for in these last few games, or kind of what is the next landmark that you're looking for the Bruins in their retool? Not a rebuild, a retool.
Well, I mean, I'd like them to be at 4th. I'd like them to try to get a ping pong ball that hits right. But if they pick 4th, right around there, like I said, they'll get a good center that they can develop. I don't have any trust in their development system, but they can get a guy who has some potential anyway. And then in the offseason, they have to pray that a guy will come here, or they can make a trade. Maybe Zaka becomes available. That's a guy I would kick the tires on and send out there. He's got a decent contract. He has the ability to get 50 or 60 points. Maybe somebody will give you something for him, because there's a logjam at center right now, and I don't think he's a great center. So I would try him out on the market, he or Middlestat, and see what happens there. But it's going to be really hard for them to get better quickly, because there's just not a lot out there after. Yeah. Bennett and those guys, they're going to probably re-sign, and then maybe Nikolai Ehlers. If you can get him, that'd be great. But anybody is better than what you have. But
that's true.
Interesting off season, really interesting.
Yeah, and one of the biggest in recent memory for the Bruins. You can hear Matt Barrie and Smitty tonight after the Blackhawks game. They will have after every game that we still have in this season, and the Bruins Benders podcast will keep us updated all season long. Do you guys have one out today? Is that right? Thursday?
We're going to have one out probably tomorrow or Saturday. Okay. Doing a subscription service. We're going to do some Benders off-air content, similar to like Fulger and Maz off-air kind of thing. They're going to do subscription only for short money, $5 a month, and we're setting that up right now for the off season to begin then. And then we're going to do the 3 post games at the end of this season, and then do a bunch of draft talk during the summer. So we got it going on.
Love that. Bruins Benders doing some big things here. That's Matt Barrie, the Bruins Benders podcast. Matt, appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk with you next week.
You got it, Cam. Thanks so much.
Cam Show rolls on. We're going to talk some Red Sox, the guy they need back pretty quickly here before this gets ugly. That's next on the Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top-quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
We are back. It's the Camp Show on Rogue Media Sports Network on this Frozen 4 Thursday. BU Terriers, Penn State, Nittany Lions in their first ever Frozen 4. BU in like their billionth. I think it's actually 23, third in a row as well. But have not advanced to the championship game under Jay Pandolfo, who is 7 for 7 in making the Final Fours, made Frozen Fours. Made 4 as a player and 3 in his 3 years as the head coach at BU, obviously winning the national championship in 1995. So I will be pulling for the Dogs tonight, of course, as I did for my entire childhood. So looking forward to that. We have talked Patriots and their draft strategy. We have talked the Bruins and their potential draft strategy and kind of the drama surrounding Nikita Zadorov. I'm with Matt Barry on that one, by the way. I'll do some more Zadorov talk next week. But I hear that, and I just think from all the shit we've heard on this team, specifically this season, but some of last season as well, I'm okay with Zadorov being the kind of personality that he is. And I do think there's still a way to win with that. I absolutely do. I think there's a way to win with an asshole as your captain. It doesn't need to be and I hadn't even thought of him as a captain, as you saw earlier on the show this week, or earlier this week on the show. I was talking about Pasternak being the captain, and I could still hear that. But the more that this kind of starts to take shape, the more I think maybe Zadorov is the guy that they're leaning on to kind of be the future of this team. The future of the Red Sox pitching staff is still in Worcester, because now the Red Sox have lost 3 in a row. It doesn't look great. I'm not, canceling the season or anything, but it just doesn't look great right now. You got a great start from Tanner Houck on Wednesday night, but you still need this rotation to kind of take shape. And the guy who is really going to make it take shape is Brian Bayo. Again, this is the 25, 26-year-old kid that you've committed 8 years to. This is the guy who was your opening day starter last year. He did not have a great 2024. And now he comes into 2025 starting on the DL. You really need him back for this rotation to take shape and see what you've got. See if Brian Bayo is a good, dependable end of the rotation guy, or if he is the number 2 guy behind Garrett Crochet, which I think we all think he's capable of being. That 23 season with the 28 starts was awesome. His ERA plus was plus. Let's see what it was. It was his ERA plus in 2023 was 107. 107. And it's down to 95 last year. He was below the league average pitcher last year as your opening day starter. That was a big reason why that team kind of was Jekyll and Hyde all season long. His FIP wasn't as good in 23 as it was in 24, but he was above league average playing in front of a terrible defense, to be quite frank with you. And this is a kid who you've committed to long-term, and you need to have him up here soon. He had a rehab start in Worcester this week. He's going to go again tomorrow on Friday. But projecting him to come back around Patriots Day, which is not this Monday, it's next Monday. I think the sooner the better for him, because you really don't know what you're getting out of Lucas Giolito. And right now, what you do know you're getting out of Walker Buehler is bad. The kid has not been very good in his first 2 starts. Richard Fitz still has a lot to work out. And you need Fitz to be a number 5 guy or potentially a spot starter if Lucas Giolito can slot back into this rotation. But it all starts with Brian Bayo. I've watched a little bit of the Netflix documentary, The Clubhouse, and I haven't finished it, so I don't get to his real struggles yet. But I think Bayo comes off pretty well for Red Sox fans. He's kind of, when he's not pitching, he's kind of this fun-loving guy. He has a lot of, great friends on the team, but when he's pitching, he's intense as hell. And, in Seattle, he's going back in between innings, and he's throwing stuff, and he's yelling, and he's bitching about the defense behind him. To me, that sounds a lot like Pedro Martinez. Like, that's what and Chris Sale too. Like, that's what you want from a pitcher. That's what you want from an ace guy. I want him to be loose and a good teammate 4 days. And then on the 5th, I want him to be an absolute menace. I want him to be a prick. I want him to be an a-hole. And I want him to shove. And I think that's what Brayan Bello still has the potential to be. I still think he has the potential to be an ace of a staff. It is pretty damning that you went out and traded, your top 3 prospect in Kyle Teal in the offseason to go out and get a real ace of the staff in Garrett Crochet. But if this becomes a Garrett Crochet, Brayan Bello 1-2 punch with Tanner Houck in the middle of your rotation, that is a scary good baseball team. Scary good. You can't keep leading the league in strikeouts and not moving runners along and scoring 4 runs in 3 games. But that will work itself out. If you can bring in Brayan Bello and he is a front of the rotation guy instead of a back of the rotation guy, which are the kind of numbers he put up last year, then you've really got something for the future with those top 2 guys locked up, Crochet and Bello. But it's like pins and needles waiting on this guy to come back because there's still so many questions. And he's about to enter into prime years. He's 26 right now. He's about to enter into prime years, and you still don't really know what you get out of him. You've got a major league starter. Like, that's for sure. You have a major league starter, but you still have questions on what it's going to look like 3rd time around the order. That was a huge problem again for him last year. You still have a question as to what is his best pitch arsenal. He had a lively fastball coming through the system, but obviously, by the time he hits the major leagues, the Red Sox completely change the way they're approaching their starting pitchers and their fastball usage. They don't want these guys throwing a lot of 4-seam fastballs. How does that affect a guy like Brayan Bello, who still has a pretty damn good changeup and a good hard slider? But that takes some time to really develop those pitches at the major league level. So is he going to come up in 2025 in a couple of weeks and still need to develop those pitches like he did basically all of last year? I'm just burning with baseball nerd questions about Brayan Bello. But if he can come in and be a solid, like a good top of the rotation number 2 starter behind Garrett Crochet, that's when you take the expectations of, man, this team's going to really challenge for something, to, man, this team's got a really good playoff series rotation. And that is a big step, because right now I think, you're still thinking of this team as potentially being a postseason team at the very worst, competing for those spots in September. But if you get plus stuff from Brayan Bello when he's back on the major league roster, you're then potentially talking about a team that could win a round in the postseason and be ahead of schedule even before you get some of these kids up. Because you do need to get some of these kids up soon, by the way. I don't know how many more David Hamilton at-bats I need to see. And to be quite frank with you, I don't know how many more Trevor Story at-bats I need to see. I mean, the guy cannot catch up to good pitching right now. He killed him in that extra innings game against Toronto, not being able to bring a run in when you had a runner at 3rd with 1 out. Because to me, that was damning. Tristan Casas bounces out, grounds out when you had the ghost runner at 2nd, but he gets all these high fives in the dugout because he went to the right side. He moved a runner along. And you have basically a fly ball to win the game, and Trevor Story is swinging at all 5 pitches and can't touch it. So I don't know, but Roman Anthony soon, Marcelo Meyer soon. Do you try Roman Anthony platooning at first base? Sometimes I know he's also a lefty hitter, but Tristan Casas right now is an out, and I can't believe he's still hitting cleanup. He's had a worse season than Rafi Devers has, and Rafi Devers got a humongous head start. But to me, the biggest one that needs to come back soon before even Meyer or Anthony comes up to the team is Brayan Bello. That's the guy who can really change expectations for this team if he comes in and can hit the ground running. And by hit the ground running, I mean by like the 2nd or 3rd start, you're like, okay, this guy, he's through the injury, and he's hopefully the 2023 Brayan Bello and not the 2024 Brayan Bello. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Only about 10% of you that are watching are actually subscribed to the channel? Come on, guys. 5 days a week, nothing but Boston sports talk. In fact, check out the other videos on the channel to see what we're talking about with the Red Sox and all the other teams. We come to you live 5 days a week here on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. We will see you tomorrow on a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.